You see, we're made of stardust, made of song and light. You see, we're made of stardust, immortal as the night. As long as I live here, as long as my song lives here, as long as my song lives here, I belong to the earth. You see, we're made of stardust, made of song and light. You see, we're made of stardust, immortal as the night. You see, we're made of stardust, made of song and light. You see, we're made of stardust, immortal as the night. Take a deep breath.
Let's pray. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful and honored and humbled and touched by the people who are in this room and the people who watch us on YouTube and the people who give us feedback, knowing that there is a huge community of light workers, of love evolutionaries who are out there and in here, touching my heart, my soul, who I am. And so I recognize and know that I'm here to play a big game, a game of love, a game of light, a game of opening to the higher consciousness of the world and allowing it to flow through me with creative enthusiasm, with creative joy, with powerful presence. I know and claim this for myself. I claim this for each and every person here, each and every person who is watching us online. I recognize and know that we are tuned in, tapped in, turned on in the currency of the affluence of life. I welcome it. I open to it. I know I am a divine channel for it, and I know it flows through me in ways that are powerful, and they multiply abundantly in and through me. That I continue to be a person of upliftment, of empowerment, of opening, of realization, this truth for myself and this truth for each and every person I come in contact with. I see the God, the infinite wisdom that is permeating everything, from the flowers to the trees, to the checker, to the neighbor, to the little ants. I recognize and know that we are intimately connected in this web of life, and that we are intimately here to play a game of love, to play a game of bliss. And so I welcome that game into my life. I'm here to play it. I'm here. I am engaged. I'm on the court, and I am in love with it. I'm grateful for that truth. I know that this is not only my truth, but I'm speaking the word for every person here. And so I surrender into that ease, the easy effortlessness of not having to pressure or push, of just surrendering to that flow, knowing it's already done, and so it is.
So it is.
Namaste. Good morning. How are you? Wonderful, really good. Yeah. Oh, hi. Excellent. We have an excellent in the back row. Can I have a super? And can I raise it by a...
Fantastic.
Fantastic. Yes. Over there. Yes. A supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Yes. We're all winners here, right?
Standing on the positive side, you notice?
This is where I belong. Yeah, well, welcome everybody to my favorite day, which is today, which is the best day ever because it's the moment I'm alive and breathing. And so I'm counting that in my blessings, no matter what. It is the only time we have to exist is in this moment now. And so we have a choice every single moment. And I choose to make it the best moment ever, even when sometimes I'm crying or even when challenging things are going on in my life, because I know that I'm alive and that I came to play in this game of life in a way that is full on. Like I want to play. And part of being in the game, you know, there's some people, they like hang out on the sidelines and they watch and then they judge and critique, right? But they're not actually in the game. And I want to be like on the court with the ball, like tossing it to my people, right? And we're all playing together, and we're like got each other's back, and we're looking for all the challenges, and yeah, oh my God, I dropped the ball and somebody else got it. And it's like, but that's way more fun than just sitting. And yeah, things happen. Things are challenging, they happen. But it doesn't mean that it's not worth playing. To me, it's so much more worth playing to actually be in the game than to be sitting back there observing, evaluating, judging, critiquing, and yet never actually doing anything, right? Now, I've had times I've done that before, but I'm done with that. I'm like, no more. We're playing full out here because this life is important. I have a family member who has a challenging diagnosis recently, and and we were talking yesterday, and she was like, this is not a good diagnosis, and I said, well, I think the good news is that it really gives you clarification in your life of like what's really important, If you have something, and a lot of us sometimes don't have anything really challenging come up, but if you do have that really challenging thing, it's kind of like the clarifying moment of like, oh, I really must make each day valuable and important and worthy. And so that's why you came here today, is to learn how to make your life valuable, important, and worthy, right? That's why I think, yes. People are like, no, I came for the music. Sorry, Abigail. Well, that's why I came, so. That's true. So this month, the month of March, is the month that our theme is, you are rooted in the divine. I love that. And today we're talking about your personal self. I love that you are rooted in the divine because it means that life always goes from the invisible to the visible. And I think of us as like trees, we're rooted. But the divine is the invisible, right? But we're the visible. And it's like, where do our nutrients come from? Where does that sustenance come from? It comes from the divine. And it's always there. I mean, trees are not like moving around. They're like present. They know where there's their source. Right here. We're rooted. They're not moving. I mean, maybe on some, I don't know. There's probably a tree that moves. There probably is. I was going to say, that. Do you know this planet is amazing? Like, I don't know if you've ever watched the Planet Earth thing and you're just like, what? Tree that moves. Okay, so that tree's like got it going on, whatever tree that is. But yeah, I know. Now I really want to know about it. We have our book of the year, which is the Living the Science of Mind book. So if you haven't gotten it, I recommend that you get it. And we have it, we're studying a chapter a week in the Living the Science of Mind book. And the chapters are like 3 or 4 pages. They're not like really intense chapters. But this week, there's a quote that says, "The God within you creates every circumstance and situation you've ever experienced. You have called these circumstances and situations things in themselves, but they have never been. They have always been the fruition of your thought, and your thought has been dominated by your belief in God ever since you have had a self-conscious life. Your beliefs form whatever's going on in your life right now. And it also informs how you behave within the circumstances that are going on in your life." There's a story I heard about an 8-year-old girl. Her name was Tess. And Tess was listening to her parents. Her mom and dad were really upset because her brother Andrew was really sick, and they knew that there was a procedure that could help him, but unfortunately they were in financial need. They were in really bad financial shape. They had spent all their money on his current medical care. They couldn't afford the procedure. They were actually moving out of their house into an apartment because they couldn't afford their mortgage. And so Tess heard her parents kind of arguing and upset and really sad about Andrew. And the mom says, It's going to take a miracle. Like, I just don't know what to do. And so Tess had this idea, and she goes to her closet, and she goes in her closet, and she pulls out her change jar. She pours the change jar out. She counts up all the change. She had $1.11. She takes her little money, puts it in the change jar, and she goes off to the pharmacy, because she knows that the pharmacy is where they offer things that help people, right? So she goes to the pharmacy, and she's at the pharmacy, and the pharmacist is talking to another man at the counter, but they're just chatting away, and she's like an 8-year-old girl, right? waiting, and finally she gets really irritated, and so she like slams her thing on the counter, and the pharmacist says, "What's up? What's going on with you, little girl? What's going on?" And she's like, "I need to speak." And the pharmacist said, "Look, I'm talking with my brother here, and he's from Chicago. I haven't seen him in ages. I miss him. And so I'm sorry, but I really need to have this conversation." And she gets really kind of like huffy, and she says, "Well, I want to talk about my little brother too." And he says, "Well, how can I help your little brother?" And she says, "I have all of this money for a miracle." And the pharmacist says, "We don't sell miracles here. I'm so sorry." And she says, "But my brother needs a miracle, and I have all this money, and I can make it happen if you can only sell me a miracle, please." And so then, this pharmacist's heart kind of melts, and he says, "Well, what's wrong with your brother?" And she says, "Well, he's really sick, and I don't know what's wrong with him, but he has something growing in his head, and it's really big, and it costs a lot of money for the surgery, and we don't have the money, but I thought I could buy a miracle." And the pharmacist was really upset, and he was like, "I'm sorry." But the brother, he steps in, and he says, "Tell me more about this." And she says, he's got this thing growing in his head, and he needs surgery, and it's really expensive, and I want to buy a miracle." And so the brother, the pharmacist's brother, takes her aside, and he looks at her right in the eye, and he says, "I actually sell miracles. I sell miracles. I will take your money, because this is just what it costs for a miracle. It's $1.11. You have exactly what it costs." And she's like, "Oh." So she takes it, gives him the jar, and he actually goes home. It turns out he was a leading surgeon in the state, and he went home to his parents, and he offered to give the surgery for free to the brother Andrew, and his name. Let's see, for Dr. Carlton Armstrong, a surgeon in Chicago who specialized in neurosurgery. And so he offered to give the surgery for free, and he saved that little boy Andrew's life. And later, the little girl hears her parents talking, "Oh, I wonder how much that would have cost," because it was really expensive. And the girl knew cost $1.11. That's the price of a miracle. But we don't have to be limited by our experience. And that's the thing. That's the beauty of kids, is they don't know that things are not possible. They're not willing to step into that realm of thinking that just because we think it's impossible, it's actually impossible. We're studying the 7 spiritual laws of success, and I have in your program, I have this wonderful blue piece of paper. So you're going to have, each week we're going to study different laws. The first week, this week, we're studying the law of pure potentiality, and the law of giving. The second week, we'll study the law of karma, so next week, and the law of least effort. The third week, we'll study the law of intention and desire, and the law of detachment, and the fourth week we'll do the law of dharma. And I have homework for you every week, which is why I gave you this handy dandy blue sheet, so you can take it home and remember what your homework is. But I'm curious, he has this thing, the 7 spiritual laws of success. What would you define success as? Anybody? What is success? Let's define it. I mean, if you have 7 spiritual laws of success, like, What determines success? What is it?
Being happy.
Being happy, okay. Breathing is good. See, every morning I woke up, I breathed. Success. Won't that make you feel good every day? If you're like, yeah.
And that's something that occurs more often as I think we get older. We start to become more appreciative that we have another day of breathing. We don't take that as much for granted as we did when we were young. I did when I was young.
So Vance doesn't take it for granted anymore. Less for granted.
Yeah.
The breathing and the importance of every day. Yeah.
And the satisfaction.
And the preciousness. Yes.
Satisfaction in life.
Satisfaction in life. Yes. Yes. We're getting there. I'm loving this. What else?
Overcome resentment, anger, and all of that.
Do what?
Overcome.
When you get rid of resentment and anger, when you get rid of it, you overcome it, then you're successful. Okay? Greg in the back.
Perfect right self-expression in your work.
Perfect what?
Right self-expression in your work.
Perfect right self-expression in your work. Yes. Pat, you had your hand?
Doing what you want, your passion, when you
Doing what you want, your passion, when you want it. Yeah.
achieving a goal.
Achieving a goal.
Living the dream.
Living the dream.
Yeah.
Living the dream. Well, Deepak actually has his own definition that I like. Success in life could be defined as the continued expansion of happiness and the progressive realization of worthy goals. Success is the ability to fulfill your desires with effortless ease. Oh, doesn't that sound good? Success is a journey, not a destination. And true success is the experience of the miraculous. Page 3.
Thank you. I'm going to.
Page 3. And funny, that's the only place where I wrote what page down it was. So don't ask me that anymore, but that's on page 3. I know. He also goes on to say, which I think is really interesting, because Ernest Holmes, we're talking about how Ernest Holmes wrote this stuff 100 years ago. And then Deepak Chopra writes this book, and he says, the source of all creation is divinity, or spirit. The process of creation is divinity in motion, or the mind, and the object of creation is the physical universe. These three components of reality, spirit, mind, and body, are essentially the same thing. They come from the same place, the field of pure potentiality, which is purely unmanifest. So I have to go over here and grab this science of mind symbol here, because I'm like, okay, Deepak is doing the science of mind thing here. If you haven't been to our classes, well, you should take them, because this is so cool. Deepak is talking about the source of all creation. Top section of our science of mind symbol here, the teaching symbol. The process of creation is divinity in motion, or the mind. That's what he says here, or soul, which is also what we have. And then the body is the bottom part right here. So this is the trinity of the infinite universe, and it's all a part of who we are. It's within each and every one of us. Your personal self is made up of this process. But the basis behind all of that is unmanifest pure potential. Unmanifest. Because everything that's manifest actually came from an idea or an intention. So we're studying the law of pure potentiality. So again, speaking about the field, or the source of all creation, is pure consciousness. It is pure potentiality. This is what Deepak says, seeking expression from the unmanifest to the manifest. It's seeking, it wants to express in the manifest. And when we realize that our true self, with a capital S, true self, is one of pure potentiality, we align with the power that manifests with everything in nature. Now get this. Being infinite and unbounded, it is also pure joy, infinite creativity, freedom, and bliss.
Is that all? I'm there.
Yeah, interested? Interested? Would you like some of that? Yeah? Why, yes, I would. Yes, please give me some pure joy, infinite creativity, freedom, and bliss. Why, yes, I will. I'll have a helping of that in seconds and thirds and fourths, right? Yeah. Hallelujah. Praise Jesus. And Buddha. And everybody else. Yeah. But that's our essential nature. That's who we truly are. That's the ground of our being. Now, maybe some of you in the room might not be experiencing that. Maybe. It could happen from time to time, right? So the question is, how do we tap in to this state of pure joy and pure bliss? Anybody have some ideas? How would you tap into this state? Yes. Prayer, meditation. Okay, yeah. So Deepak, you hit it on the head. Deepak talks about aim for experiencing yourself. Aim for experiencing yourself, which is the big S self, but aim for experiencing yourself. And he calls this self-referral. Go for self-referral. And so that means that our internal reference point is our own self and spirit and not the objects of our experience, right? And when we get the power of ourself, there's a complete absence of fear. You experience your true being. It's a permanent experience. And get this is the best part. It draws people to you and draws things that you want to you. It magnetizes people, situations, and circumstances to support your deepest and most blissful desires. Sounds pretty good, huh? Yeah. So who in the room wants this? Anybody? Bliss, freedom, infinite creativity? Yeah, okay, cool. So the opposite of self-referral is object referral. And that's where we're influenced by objects outside of ourselves, situations, people, and things. So this is how you know you're having object referral, because it happens. It happens to me too. I know I am perfect, and so are you. But I'm also human. So the object referral. If you're seeking the approval from others, in any circumstances, object referral. If you feel like you need to control things, I'm not guilty of that at all. If your internal reference point is your ego, you might think about this, you might have some ego-based power going on, and it's temporary. So for instance, you are identified with your job and you lose your job. Or you're identified with your title and you lose your title. You're identified with something outside of yourself, and it's temporary, it's fleeting. Anything outside of yourself is fleeting. And so you know that you're experiencing this object referral, because whenever the fleeting thing goes and you feel like you've lost part of yourself, then that's when you know you need to go to the self-referral. So Deepak has some ways for you to tap into the field of all possibilities. And the first thing is to practice silence. And now, I mean, like really, like withdraw from your cell phone, like step away from the cell phone and the TV and talking and a book and your journal, like actually be in the silence. Be in the silence. And that's what will open you up to the field of pure possibility and joy. That's one way. There's actually 4 different ways, which is awesome. And you can incorporate all these ways. The second way is to meditate. In the Bible, it says, "Be still and know that I am God." And as we meditate, Deepak recommends that you try doing 30 minutes in the morning and 30 minutes in the evening. And if you need help doing that, download Insight Timer and you will find a million 30-minute meditations that will help you out. From verbal meditations that help you center to nighttime meditations that help you sleep. It's super, super awesome. And so just try that out, meditate. And when you meditate, you will experience the infinite organizing power of the ultimate ground of creation. The third thing you can do is practice non-judgment. So judgment is the constant evaluation of things outside of you, right or wrong, bad or good. They should be doing it this way. They should be having it this way. They should be putting their carts away. They should be parking their cars within the lines. That's judgment and evaluation, right? So just try maybe an hour a day. Say, this hour I'm going to be non-judgmental. Yes, Vance.
Self-focused as well. It's not just about other people. I'm constantly judging myself as well as others. That's
exactly. Oh, yeah. Vance was like, oh, that nails it on the head. No judging yourself either. No judging yourself. I mean, and this is a practice. You thought you came in here to just like, I'm just going to receive wisdom and walk out enlightened. Nope, you got to do some work. You got to let go of your judgment of yourself. In the Course of Miracles, they have a prayer that says, today I shall judge nothing that occurs. And you can make that your prayer too. Today I shall judge nothing that occurs. Yeah, it's a practice, huh? Ooh, can I do this? It's a practice. I'm taking this on too, by the way. So this is what you're taking on this week, by the way. The fourth thing that you can do is regularly spend time in direct communication with nature. And I realized that this is a part of my soul, man. Nature just feeds my soul, and I have been not treating myself to nature. And I can tell you, in the last week, I went out in nature almost every day, and I have lost weight. I mean, literally, it's like things are melting off my body because it's like I'm reconnecting with who I am because I'm being out in nature. It's amazing. Healing properties of nature. So I want to encourage you. Your homework is to take time to be silent this week. This is what you're going to do. Your homework is take time to be silent, to just meditate for 30 minutes twice a day, witness the intelligence within every living thing, and practice non-judgment. And maybe take a little walk out in nature. And it doesn't have to be nature. I just went to Vasona Park yesterday, and it doesn't have to be, far away nature. You could be in your backyard and have there's nature. So, especially your backyard, it's beautiful. Pat?
This was a part of our homework a couple weeks ago about non-judgment.
Mm-hmm.
And so I consciously tried to do that, and I realized what I do is I judge positive as well as, and that's still a judgment.
Yes. Yeah. So practicing non-judgment, you're judging positive as well as negative. So it's really just being with what is, just allowing what is. Now, and allowing what is can make you feel good, and that's okay. Remember, you're tapping into that bliss and joy, but not judging something as good or bad. That's what Pat was saying. Even if you're judging it as good, you're still judging. You're still judging. So the second thing that we're talking about this week is the law of giving. So the law of giving and receiving. So the universe operates through dynamic exchange. Giving and receiving is the flow of the energy. It continues to keep us affluent and abundant. And now think about, our blood in our body. Whenever the blood stops flowing, it begins to clot, coagulate, and stagnate. So who wants that? No. Right? And the same thing, if you think about the Dead Sea, the problem with the Dead Sea is it has an inlet going in, but there's nothing coming out of the Dead Sea. And that's why it's dead. So in order for you to have an affluent and abundant and a life of circulation and wealth and abundance and happiness and joy, you need to give out just like you receive in. If you're getting money in from a paycheck, you need to give some money out. If people are serving you, you need to serve people. Same thing. You see, money is really a symbol of life energy. It's the life energy we exchange. It's a symbol of the service that we have. It's just a symbol of service, of what we've done. Oh, I've done a service to you. You're giving me money. It's just a service. Oh, I need to buy some eggs. I'm giving you this, but you had a farm and you took care of the chickens who had the eggs. So there's the exchange. That's all money is. Everybody wants, I want lots of money. Well, you can have a lot of money and be really unhappy. The question is, what do you really want? What's underneath that money? And the word affluence comes from the root word affluere. I can't say it. To flow to. So the word affluence means to flow in abundance. And another word for money is currency. Just think about that. A current, right? Currency. It's a Latin word curre, which means to run or flow. Currency, yeah. So you just start thinking, this is the nature of the law of giving. So like a river, money must keep flowing. Otherwise, it begins to stagnate or clog. Circulation keeps it alive. Just think about it. What goes up must go down, right? What goes up must go down. What goes out must come back. The more you give, the more you receive, right? We all need this all. As you sow, so shall you reap, right? That's the law of giving and receiving. And the key, this is what I love. This is a key here. Anything that you give, anything of value of life, multiplies when it's given. And so the purpose to give is A, to provide happiness for yourself and giving it away, and B, to provide happiness for the person who receives it. And if you're not having that equation, like if you're giving and you feel like you have a loss, then it doesn't have the right equation. Like you actually have to give and be happy in it, and the person receiving, it's like a twofold operation that happens. So when you give, it multiplies. It totally multiplies. It's the intention behind your giving. That's the most important thing. So the intention should always be to create happiness for the giver and the receiver. Now, maybe some of you might be bad receivers. Somebody's trying to give you a gift. Remember, they're happy to give you a gift. I've learned that this year. I've learned that this last year. I mean, this community has been very generous to me, and I've been kind of like, I don't know if I can take all that amazing abundance. And the answer is yes. I've had to learn how to receive generously just as much. I mean, giving is really easy for me, but the receiving has been hard. But I know if I don't say yes and receive it, I'm turning down the gift from the giver, and they get happiness to give to me too. So it's just as important. So if you want joy, you give joy. If you want love, you give love. If you want money, give money away. Simple as that. And I have to say, last week I did this announcement, and I even have a better announcement. So we've raised $20,000 for our endowment fund. We need to raise $25,000. My goal is to get this done within the next 2 months, but in the next 2 weeks, this week and next week, there's an amazing thing happening. So we need $5,000 more for our endowment fund. And when we get this $5,000 more, when we get up to $25,000, we're gonna start our endowment, and the Science of Mind Foundation is gonna match that dollar for dollar. So we're gonna turn our $25,000 into $50,000 because we're that abundant. And the crazy cool thing about this, so last week I'd given already, and I gave another $500 towards the endowment. I want to encourage you to give to the endowment fund. Also give your regular tithes, but above and beyond your regular tithes, I have somebody who's a donor here who's going to match your gift. So now just think about this. If you gave $20, then that $20 is going to be matched by a donor here. That's going to make it $40. And then the Science of Mind Foundation is matching that, and that's going to make it $80. So your $20 is going to turn into $80. So I just want to encourage you. My goal is to get another $5,000 so we can start putting our endowment fund actually in place with the Science of Mind Foundation. And it's amazing. Like, this is a miracle. So I want to encourage. It's a magical miracle. Like, it's just like, wow, you're like, talk about multiplying your money. Yes.
Question about what does the endowment fund do?
The endowment fund creates passive income, so you don't ever touch the principal. And every year we have a professional person who is investing this in the stock market. And then the income that comes in from that percentage, from that principal, is like passive income. So if we have $50,000, let's say we make 5%, we would have $2,500 that comes in every year off of this endowment fund, $2,500. And you think how many, and then if we grow the endowment fund, that it keeps growing. What happens, every percentage above that 5% gets reinvested in the fund. So let's say they make 15%, which is they made 15% last year, then that additional 10% gets reinvested in the fund. So next year's endowment is even bigger, and then we get 5% off of that directly coming in as passive income every year. So, and then when we want to get our building, it's going to be equity for our building, for our future building. So just saying, it's a really cool thing that we have going on here, and that $25,000 is going to make this center, it's creating a legacy for our center. You're creating a legacy for everybody who walks in the door, not only yourself, but everybody in the future, forever. I mean, that's a cool thing. Yes, John Schummer.
Also, it works too for $5 or $10.
Yes, if you gave $5 or $10. I mean, it doesn't matter. It's still going to multiply that. So anything you can give towards the endowment would be wonderful. So I want to encourage you to think about what ways that you can give easily. And so that's going to be your homework about the law of giving. And I want you to take on every person you come in contact with this week and think, how can I give to them? How can I give to them? It might be, somebody you notice is a checker, they're having a bad day, they're not even responding to you. You give them a silent prayer or a blessing. Yes.
Just give them a smile.
Give them a smile.
It's easy.
A smile is easy.
And look on their name badge.
Putting your walker in your car when you can't lift right now.
Thank who? Who is it?
My neighbor.
Thank your neighbor for putting your walker in the car, right? Thank the person who's doing those little acts of service. Thank the people here who are doing the little acts of service. That's the ways that we can be. I want to be a person of upliftment, right? Person of upliftment. So that's your charge this week. I want you to be in the game. I want you to play this game. And I know that you're going to win this game. Because winning means you tap into the source of unlimited bliss, freedom, and joy. And that's the game we're playing at. And so I encourage you to take that homework on, to take it into yourself, to see what you can do to be a person who is incorporating the law of giving and receiving, a person who's incorporating the law of pure potentiality, and a person who is a person of upliftment everywhere you go. Are you willing to do that with me this week?
Yes.
Are you willing to do that with me this month?
Yes.
All right.
How about this year?
Are you willing to do that with me this year?
Yeah, it's the way to live.
It's the way to live. Thank you, Vance. And so it is.
And so it is.
Let's pray. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful and honored and humbled and touched by the people who are in this room and the people who watch us on YouTube and the people who give us feedback, knowing that there is a huge community of light workers, of love evolutionaries who are out there and in here, touching my heart, my soul, who I am. And so I recognize and know that I'm here to play a big game, a game of love, a game of light, a game of opening to the higher consciousness of the world and allowing it to flow through me with creative enthusiasm, with creative joy, with powerful presence. I know and claim this for myself. I claim this for each and every person here, each and every person who is watching us online. I recognize and know that we are tuned in, tapped in, turned on in the currency of the affluence of life. I welcome it. I open to it. I know I am a divine channel for it, and I know it flows through me in ways that are powerful, and they multiply abundantly in and through me. That I continue to be a person of upliftment, of empowerment, of opening, of realization, this truth for myself and this truth for each and every person I come in contact with. I see the God, the infinite wisdom that is permeating everything, from the flowers to the trees, to the checker, to the neighbor, to the little ants. I recognize and know that we are intimately connected in this web of life, and that we are intimately here to play a game of love, to play a game of bliss. And so I welcome that game into my life. I'm here to play it. I'm here. I am engaged. I'm on the court, and I am in love with it. I'm grateful for that truth. I know that this is not only my truth, but I'm speaking the word for every person here. And so I surrender into that ease, the easy effortlessness of not having to pressure or push, of just surrendering to that flow, knowing it's already done, and so it is.
So it is.
Namaste.